Hi, this is Cash Grab with another video about the Days Gone challenges. Today we're looking at the challenge Outride and specifically how to crack the global top 25. I went back and forth on how to include all the information and decided to show two runs, both of which would be good enough to reach the top 25 basically. Okay, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Outride legends LeeB and Borislav247 for taking the time, because I reached out to them both to say I was doing this video and they came back with some really helpful information which I've tried to weave in. Not all of it, because I've held a bit back for when I'm going to do a video about how to crack the top 5 on this challenge, but I need to get back in there first before I can legitimately do that. So thanks Ian Murphy for blowing me out the water with your fantastic score, and on a serious note, congratulations for that. That was a brilliant run, and I very much expect to see a 155k run from you soon. Hoping I can keep up. We'll see. So in terms of the score you need, I'll show the bottom of the top 25 very shortly. What we're looking for is anything above 143k. So the two runs I've shown I'm going to show are both above that. It's not a straightforward challenge. It's quite tough, especially because you have to manage the speed and whatnot, but I'll get into the details in a second. So as I said with the Keep and Safer video that I did on the same subject of crack the top 25, these are all good scores and good players, especially Primal Scream Gaming. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. Fantastic runs on a lot of these challenges, especially Reload, which his run on that is just absolutely crazy and just fantastic, and a great run on Survive as well. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. So in terms of characters, you won't be surprised to say Ricky or Sarah. I think the difference really ultimately is quite minimal, but it definitely is worth choosing one of the lighter characters. In terms of the rings, there's no debate on this one. It's Snake for repairing the bike, and it is Engine because you're going to need to restore your nitrous because speed is a factor. Also really helps for your jumps. Also really important, if I can remember which ones it is, to have got a gold in Hog Wild and also Reload for the indestructible and insight patches, which make a difference in terms of your bike not getting so damaged. And also the insight one helps with the shooting of freakers, and as you're going to be having to kill at least 15, it definitely is worth having that one in place. Okay, in terms of the overall approach, you're going to need to get golds in all 4 of these sub-challenges, which are air apparent, so you need 33 seconds of air time, which is doable, but depending on what route you take, it can be quite tricky. Road killer, when you need to kill 15 freakers, and the bane of my life anyway, and certainly I think a lot of people, is the desert drifter component, and I will show some bits and pieces on the better ways to approach drifting in both these runs, especially the second one. But you need 25 seconds, which doesn't sound like that much, but it is quite a lot really. You also need to maintain your score chain, by which means you need to be jumping, shooting, drifting throughout the whole piece for at least 120 seconds. To be honest, if you're doing the other 3, this one pretty much takes care of itself. You also need to manage speed. You really need to have at least 30 seconds left on the clock, to be honest, because every second basically, more or less, equals 1,000 points, so that's a massive part of the score. You also need to look after the bike. If you crash it, you're toast. The run's over, unless you've kind of already got an amazing run and you're in the last few seconds, in which case, to be honest, scraping over the line doesn't feel like much because you haven't got the score that you probably deserved. So you know, those are the components. You also need to be very careful when you're going between checkpoints, because if you're quick enough, you should get 1,500 points. If you're slow, you're going to get 300. So those 1,200 points cumulative across all those checkpoints make a massive difference to your score. Now in the first run, I don't actually go for all of the 1,500s, because I take a route that is a lot more conservative in terms of just making sure that with a good margin of error, all of the sub-challenges are taken care of. But you'll see when we look at the second run that there is actually a massive difference in terms of if you approach the route differently and you're trying to focus on speed. So all that being said, let's have a look at this first run, and I'll just talk you through the decisions I've made and how I've approached it and where things could probably be better. So as I said, this is the kind of slower run, but it kind of makes sure that we're kind of getting all the sub-challenges done quite comfortably. So as always, trying to go for a little bit of airtime there, then we start our drifting. Not too much done around here. This is kind of an indication of where a lot of people will be when they start trying to take this on. Not quite getting as much in as you'd ideally want. You kind of really want 3 seconds by then, for example. So again, this is this kind of slower drifting technique, but again, ensures that you are going to be able to get in your 25 seconds, which is, you know, the idea. Not a lot of nitro boost through the jump, so you can see the numbers aren't quite where they could be. This is a good corner for drifting, but be a little bit careful, because if you go too far wide, you will find yourself in trouble. Always tend to take these jumps because they are a bit quicker. This section here is quite important to get the line right, because otherwise it's very easy to crash. Taking that jump and going left, it's just the easier one to land. Now for this section here, I kind of elect not to try and get to 1500 points, because I'm just trying to focus on getting a bit more airtime in. So going down the middle, it's definitely slower, but you do tend to get a bit more airtime. Be a bit careful on that jump. And then I take this jump here again, because I'm just trying to make sure I've got as much airtime as I possibly can. A bit more drifting. And again, I've elected not to go for the 1500 points here, because my focus is really just trying to get the drifting in. So we're up to 16 seconds of drifting there, which is really great. We've got 9 freakers killed, got a good amount of airtime. Again, a bit slow through this section. It doesn't really matter, because we're just trying to get the drifting done, basically. That checkpoint is quite forgiving, actually. So nearly there on that. A bit more drifting around this corner. Catch this jump for a little bit more airtime. Got pretty much all the freakers done. Bit slow through that section, but never mind. Got the drifting sorted. The airtime done and the freakers. And then we've got a good 30 plus seconds there, which takes us to a decent but unspectacular score of 144k, but that does the job. So I think that's a safe enough route to take. Okay, so in terms of the second run, which you know gives you a better score, and I think has a better route, I'd like to kind of highlight a few aspects, some of which I did during this run, and some of which are just great bits of advice. Mostly this comes from LeeB and Boris rather than myself, but certainly I would agree with a lot of it. So always aim for a nitro boost at the start. I don't think I did this on this run, but it's a good tip in terms of speed. Try to limit the amount of drifting you do when you're going uphill, because that really costs you time. Aim to, where possible, to slalom drift, by which I mean you kind of tap in the drift, throwing the bike around, and then tap in drift again, wherever possible, with a nitro boost in there as well to avoid slowing yourself down. Use nitro before and after all jumps to try and get as big a jump as you possibly can, and also to maintain speed afterwards. And aim to kind of land your jumps and do your drifting on the off-road sections where you possibly can. So in terms of the second run, you'll see us take a slightly different route and a slightly different approach, but a lot of it is fairly similar, but you see there's quite a difference in terms of the score, and that's fundamentally down to speed really, and just kind of making sure you're trying to get to those arches as quickly as you can. So this one's a bit better in terms of getting a bit more drifting done. You can see there I'm slalom drifting a little bit. Technically I'm not the best at this. I highly recommend looking at LeeB or Boris' stuff, also Ian Murphy's stuff as well. He's good on the technical side, drifting. Getting through there a little bit quicker with a bit more drifting done already. You have 5 seconds by there, you're in a very good place. Kind of hit this road a bit hard, which slows me down. Really don't forget to shoot the freakers, because I've done that before. I've had a really good run, but I haven't hit enough freakers, and then you don't get your score, because you need that. So yeah, so same thing again here, so aim for these jumps, trying to get a bit of speed through them. Again, maintaining the line, because if you fall off it, you will hit that tree on the left. I've done that countless times. Once to hilarious effect where I got thrown basically through the sky and outside the playable area. I'm in a good place here, so take that jump, but try not to take it too hard. I think I still do get 1500 points through this one, but I must have just scraped it. Now I think through this one I sacrifice it somewhat, the 1500 points, because my focus is really, I make a bit of a mistake there, but it kind of indicates you can actually get away with some on this. It doesn't have to be a perfect run. So that's only a 300er. This one here is a bit more forgiving. Again, I'm in a decent place. 27 seconds air time, 29 now, 16 seconds of drifting. This section here is a little bit more forgiving in terms of time, so if you're behind on your drifting, this is the place to do it. So again, the drifting here is not perfect, but it kind of does the job. Again, I'm going to be slow through this next section, but it does the job. Hit that jump, we're very nearly there. Got our drifting pretty much done. That's a slightly better version of how to handle that drifting section at the end. Again, getting that jump nice and tidy. Much more time on the clock equals a better score. So we end up with 149k, which is more than good enough. We'll probably get you in the top 15, I think, or top 10. Okay, so that's my video. Hopefully some of that has been helpful. If anyone's got any questions about how to approach any specific sections, or they'd like me to troubleshoot any of their runs, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to have a look at it. Because I'm very cool and I have loads of interests, and I don't just think about the Days Gone challenges all the time, no matter what people say. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.